If you would, please, would you grab your bulletin and look at the front of it? This picture that's on the front of your bulletin looks like this. This was taken on one of my trips to Thailand. This is one of the homes that we have helped in the past and helped them support them. And the young girl in the red and white striped shirt, her mother died in birth. And part of some of the tradition in some of the hill tribes in Thailand is that if the mother dies, it's because the baby was evil. So they'll take the baby and put the baby underneath the mother and let the baby die. Fortunately, the caretakers at this particular home heard of what was going on, and they were able to go and rescue this young girl. And she's a thriving young girl now and growing up and being trained to know Jesus instead of the dark belief. And I'd like to think that Bridget's played a small role in saving that baby just through our support of that home. But I tell you this because I would like for you to be in prayer and keep praying for the people of Thailand and that they will grow to know Jesus Christ. So today we're going to look at Isaiah. I think Isaiah is one of those really fascinating books. It's full of prophecies of the coming Messiah. And Isaiah's central message is spiritual and about the moral condition of Israel. Isaiah talks a lot about the sinful condition that the people of Israel are living in, but he talks more about forgiveness. Isaiah speaks into the lives of the Israelis about judgment, but he speaks more about mercy. Isaiah's message also calls out the social wrongs being forced onto the marginalized, but that message also, excuse me, but that message also calls out God's ultimate plan of justice for all people. I'm going to take a look at chapter 1 of Isaiah. I'm going to start reading it. Verse 1, it will not be on the screen, but I just want you to listen to it. So, the vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord has spoken. Children have I reared and brought up, but they have rebelled against me. The ox knows its owner, and the donkey its master's crib, but Israel does not know my people, and do not understand. Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, offspring of evildoers, children who deal corruptly. They have forsaken the Lord. They have despised the Holy One of Israel. They are utterly estranged. Why will you still be struck down? Why will you continue to rebel? The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. From the sole of the foot even to the head there is no soundness in it, but bruises and sores and raw wounds. They are not pressed out or bound up or softened with oil. Your country lies desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. In your very presence, foreigners devour your land, and it's desolate, as overthrown by foreigners. And the daughter of Zion is left like a booth in a vineyard, like a lodge in a cucumber field, like a besieged city. If the Lord of hosts had not left us a few survivors, we should have been like Sodom and become like Gomorrah. Hear the word of the Lord, you rulers of Sodom. Give ear to the teaching of our God, you people of Gomorrah. What to me is the multitude of your sacrifices, says the Lord. I've had enough of burnt offerings of rams and the fat of well-fed beasts. I do not delight in the blood of bulls and of lambs or of goats. When you come to appear before me, who has required of you this trampling of my courts? Bring no more vain offerings. Incense is an abomination to me. New moon and Sabbath and the calling of convictions. I cannot endure iniquity and solemn assembly. Your new moons and your appointed feasts my soul hates. They have become a burden to me. I am weary of breathing them. When you spread out your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Even though you make many prayers, I will not listen. Your hands are full of blood. These 15 verses explain some of Israel's past history. It is not too good, to say the least. But then again, how good has our own past been? There is hope for the Israelites and for us if we follow the instructions in verses 16 and 17. Isaiah 1:16 through 17 says, "Wash yourselves, make yourselves clean. Remove the evil of your deeds from before my eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do good. Seek justice. Correct oppression. Bring justice to the fatherless. Plead the widow's cause." These two verses have 9 authoritative calls to action that we are called to follow. This is where we find hope in this text. The first one calls us to wash ourselves. It is a figurative call to action, but very much active in our hearts. The second call to action is very similar to the first and goes hand in hand with the washing, in that we are to make ourselves clean. This means we are to repent. We turn around and start moving towards God. Psalm 51:7 is a good prayer of repentance. "Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow." And then the third and fourth authoritative statements go hand in hand as well. They tell us to set aside our evil ways in two different ways. First, we are to set aside our evil deeds so God doesn't see them anymore. Then we're to cease evil. Of course, there's no way that we can clean ourselves. That comes from the blood of Christ. But we can certainly seek that cleansing. And once we admit our sin and ask for forgiveness, it's done, it's over. We are forgiven and the sin is forgotten. And now the last 5 authoritative calls to action are the new way we are to live. I think that since God calls us to step into these calls to action, it is a part of growing our relationship with God. The first one is to learn to do good. I think learning to do good is the beginning of our vertical relationship with God that in turn helps us to develop our horizontal relationship with humans. And learning is a process. If you want to play the piano, it takes a lot of practice. Carol, would you agree with that? So, and you practice quite a bit, don't you? Hours every week, right? We appreciate you very much. We're glad you do. So, Carol, can I start taking piano lessons from you? So you know, if you want to learn something, like if you want to learn to play the piano, it takes a lot of effort. It takes a mentor that knows the piano to help you learn. You have to know which keys to press to make the music sound good. Then you have to practice them over and over and over and improve, and then learn more pieces, and you have to practice those over and over. We have to learn to do good and practice doing good to get better at it. The next thing is we are to seek justice. And justice is referred to in this verse twice. The first time, we are to seek justice. As I was studying this particular text, I began wondering if this is a reference to us seeking justice for ourselves or justice in general. Seeking justice for ourselves seems to me to be a bit self-serving, which is not God's true call on our lives, because we are called to serve others, not ourselves. Perhaps it is a call to seek justice in general, or maybe it is a call to seek justice for the oppressed, and we are to correct oppression. Correcting the oppression means that we are to make right what is wrong. And I think justice is a two-sided coin. One side of justice is the punishable side. This is where criminals are sentenced for their crimes of injustice. And the other side of that coin is restorative justice. It is where we are to bring justice to the orphans, plead the cause of the widow. To bring justice to the orphans is all about making sure that they have basic needs, such as food, clean, healthy water, shelter, and clothes. And this is Hope Bridge's focus in Thailand. And then pleading the cause of the widow is where we stand up for them and speak on their behalf. We are also to protect them. To live as God has called us, we are to learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the orphans, and plead the cause for the widow. These 9 authoritative calls to action are not negotiable. Jesus proclaims justice in significant ways in the New Testament as well. In Luke's gospel, Jesus came into the temple and announces that he fulfills the vision in Isaiah's book, saying, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to the captives and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." In Matthew, Jesus tells the parable about the goats and the sheep. This is where the goats and sheep are separated, and the goats did nothing to help the marginalized, while the sheep did help the marginalized, and they ask, "When did we see you sick or in prison and visit you?" Jesus responds saying, "Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me." And James even affirms justice, stating, "Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction and to keep oneself unstained from the world." Justice is a theme that runs through the whole Bible. It is meant to emerge in our communities that helps the poor and the marginal people in God's creation. I mentioned about justice being 2 sides of the same coin a moment ago. The judgment side of the coin comes from Deuteronomy 16:18. It says, "You shall appoint judges and officers in all your towns, and the Lord your God is giving you, according to your tribes, and they shall judge the people with righteous judgment." This is the kind of justice that actually puts people that commit injustices in prison. It is a part of our justice that we hear about criminals on the news. The restorative side is the vast majority of the Bible speaks to restore justice. It is also where most people are called to work and to take action. There is a global pandemic horror happening in our world today, and it shows the depths of human depravity. It is estimated that there are 27 million slaves in the world today, approximately 21 million of these slaves in sex bondage. There are slaves in the U.S. as well, with an estimated 200,000 children sold into slavery every year. Slavery is a $32 billion a year endeavor globally. To wrap your brain around what 27 million people looks like, you would have to multiply the Kansas City metro population of 2.16 million by 12 and a half. You kind of got a visual picture in your head how big and how much land is covered by people in Kansas City metro area. You'd multiply that by 12 and a half to house that many people. That's 27 million too many. So does it make sense that you are called to be washed as white as snow to remove evil from God's sight, along with learning to do good and seeking justice, correcting oppression, bringing justice to the orphans, and pleading the cause for the widow? It is such a huge issue. You may feel like you can't do anything about it, but you can. You can make a difference. We can make a difference. You can be his hands and feet. You can donate money. You can donate time. You can donate other resources. You can be a mentor for a survivor. You can be aware of what is going on around you. It's that see something, say something. There are several areas where you can be his hands and feet to bring justice to survivors. On the rescue side, there is an organization called International Justice Mission. They're a huge organization. They work worldwide, and they work diligently to seek out traffickers and work with local police to arrest the traffickers and rescue the survivors. There's also many rehabilitation and reintegration organizations that bring justice to the orphans. One of them is called Destiny Rescue. They work with young teenage survivors, helping them to work through all of the PTSD and the depression. And they are working predominantly in Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Phnom Penh, Vietnam, and Thailand. And then on the prevention side, it helps to bring justice to orphans and help to lift them out of poverty. And that's where Hope Bridges works to prevent trafficking. And as a missions pastor for several years to Thailand, I saw desperate need for helping children in rural areas. And that is why I started Hope Bridges. We build bridges of hope by providing food, clothing, and education. And the education that we help with is threefold. First and foremost, we help teach them about Jesus. We also teach them anti-trafficking methods and help with their regular schoolwork through tutoring. We have a unique win-win-win business model in that we offer Thai coffee that is grown and produced by Thai hill tribes. We then roast and sell the coffee here. And you get a great cup of coffee. The hill tribes earn a fair market wage and are kept out of the opium fields. And the proceeds of the coffee go back to Thailand to support our children. When you grab your coffee after service, when you're getting your coffee, after you get your coffee, look to the left a little bit and check out that banner. You can follow that banner. You'll see where the funds of that coffee goes to. I talked a few minutes ago briefly about donating money as well as time and other resources. And I'm amazed by the amount of times that I have heard people say that they cannot make a difference and that's just too big of a problem. But that's just not true. $10 a month can make a difference, and it doesn't take many people doing it to make a bigger impact. I'm not exactly sure what $10 a month would do for the organizations that I mentioned, but I do know what $10 a month would do for Hope Bridges. $10 will buy 33 pounds of rice. The 125 kids that we help support are currently needing help. They eat about 2,000 pounds of rice per month. And $10 will buy approximately 10 hygiene kits, which consists of a toothbrush, toothpaste, a bar of soap, and a bottle of shampoo. $10 will buy 2 mosquito nets. $10 will buy rain gear for a child. 100 people donating $10 per month would allow us to double the number of kids we are helping right now to 250 children per month. You can make a difference. So let me ask you, have you ever heard a song that really resonated in your soul? I know for some people that is true. 10th Avenue North sings For Those Who Can't Speak, and it definitely resonates within my soul. It's a blend of rap and contemporary Christian music. I had this fleeting, momentary idea to sing it, but yeah, that would be an injustice to your ears. I cannot sing. And in fact, Robin heard me singing one day, and she told me to sing quieter. So I'm kidding. She didn't say that. So I'm not going to annoy you by trying to sing it, but I do want to read some of the words to you, some of the lyrics. So this is how it starts off. I see the glory of the Lord every time the sun rises. I hear the unheard screams of a broken heart, because every day a son dies. 27 million slaves, but no plantation. $27 million slaves. All different races. This is not the picture the Lord painted in Genesis. Silence is our enemy. Our voices can end it. I have dreamed of a kingdom coming where evil drowns in mercy streams. I want to see those rivers of justice. So I use my voice for those who can't speak. I will use my voice for those who can't speak. You can make a difference. Use your voice for those that can't speak. Use your hands and feet for those that are bound. Make a difference, because we can make a difference. Amen.